Good morning.
Good morning. Hello. I wasn't expecting that. That was good. My name is Tanya. I'm one of your guests of honor. We have, of course, Kluwe, who's another guest of honor, and Taru, who is here to wrangle me. But we're going to introduce ourselves. We're going to talk about streaming for fun and rarely any profit because, well, streaming don't pay the bills. Taru, do you want to go first?
Sure, I'm Taru Hunter, pronouns they, them. I am a sign language interpreter by day, jouster by night, and sometimes streamer when Tanya drags me into it.
I'm Kluwe, peacefully.
I am Kluwe, terrible at electronic devices apparently. Former Minnesota Vikings punter, now retired taking care of my children, and pronouns he, him. And yeah, I don't stream very much these days, but I used to before, and yeah, you generally don't make money from it, so good luck.
I'm your moderator, Tanya, DePass, known as Cypher Tier Online. I've been streaming actually for 11 years on Twitch, on YouTube as well for a while, but I usually just export my Twitch VODs, and then I've been a Twitch partner for about 8 years. However, that said, I still don't make money off streaming that pays all my bills. So what we're going to talk about, and we'll have time for Q&A as well, so when we get to the Q&A, please have a question. I will ask you to go find one if you don't have one. And also, if we can get the back door shut, that would be great. So, you know, in terms of streaming or YouTube or what have you, what kind of reality check do you wish people had given you about the cost of streaming? And that could be monetary or non-monetary.
Well, I mean, so for me, when I was streaming, this was like maybe 10 years ago or so, right? Like the big thing people wanted was like, why isn't your face on the screen? I was like, okay, well then that means I have to do the whole setup and everything. And actually, my older kid has started getting into streaming, and he actually made an overlay to where it's like you don't actually have to have your face; it's the nice graphic overlay. But he's also put about about a month of drawing at this point in terms of actually creating that overlay. So yeah, there is a definite cost of initial equipment setup, or you got to spend the time to create something like that.
Yeah, you need a webcam, you need a computer that can handle streaming, especially if you're playing high-powered video games, you need a computer that can handle those things. You need a mic. And honestly, that's like one of the key features that I think a lot of people miss right off the bat is if you don't have a good mic and people can't hear you and understand you while you're streaming, they're not going to engage in the same way. But like a non-monetary thing would also be just the amount of time that goes into it. Back when I was making YouTube videos, I was taking 3 or 4 hours of content and editing it down to 30-minute videos because that's usually about all a YouTube audience will watch. So I wasn't really getting to play the games that I wanted to play because I was spending all of my time editing or recording for content. So you also have to take that into consideration.
Yeah, I did the same thing because I made a bunch of Path of Exile videos, just kind of like build showcases, stuff like that. And so yeah, it would be recording like hours of gameplay, and then you're trying to like put it together in a cohesive whole. And then one thing people forget about is music, right? you gotta make sure you have the rights to your music, or if you're streaming, that you're not streaming copyrighted music, because it's very hard to keep a VOD up if all of a sudden the music industry comes by and says no, copyright strike, you got to take that down.
Yeah, well, it's something interesting that started with Twitch in the last couple of years is that they will just mute parts of the video instead of striking the whole thing. But games are now also realizing that their music could cause a streamer issues, and a lot of games now have a streamer mode built in, which turns off the copyright music, which saves me so much hassle. I want to talk about also the fact that a lot of people think that you need to spend the earth to even start streaming, that you need like a $5,000 computer, a $1,000 DSLR camera, that you need like a $600 microphone. Spoiler, you do not. I started streaming directly off my PS4 with a headset, and that was it. No fancy computer, didn't have any of that stuff. So in terms of what you started with, because you were making videos and also streaming, and Taru you stream as well, what would you say your budget was to just get your initial setup going?
So my computer I built myself, so I was able to mitigate some costs there. And also I was going to game anyways. So that's a part of it too, is like if you have things that you're going to purchase anyways, I don't really count those in like the streaming portion of the program. So I needed a webcam for work. I needed the computer for my already issue of gaming. So it was really the microphone and the software. So I purchased software to be able to edit my videos, and that was expensive, but under $1,000 for sure.
Yeah, for me it was, I purchased an Alienware gaming laptop because I was still playing the NFL. You know, I could afford to just be like, yeah, I don't need to build my computer. I'll waste the money. But yeah, no, it was fairly high end for the time, and then I had literally just a pair of like Astro gaming headset with built-in mic, which I still use to this day. Like, it's really good quality. And yeah, other than that, downloaded OBS, and that was pretty much it. I think for my videos, I used I would send them over to my MacBook, and I would use just the free iMovie.
Yeah.
Which is surprisingly powerful. I don't know if that's still the case, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can use that isn't necessarily like you gotta pay way out of pocket to use it. You know, look around for those free options if you're just starting out, because they may not give you everything you need, but they'll probably give you a lot of what you need. So yeah, save the money now. Also, so that way you can figure out if this is something you actually want to do. Like there's no point in dumping $2,000 into streaming if you 5 hours in you decide, oh, streaming's not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's one thing I've noticed with people, especially now if they want to start streaming, because they're looking at it from day zero as a career. And we talked about this a little bit yesterday in the streaming, creating content over 25. So if you want that panel, there may be a little bit of overlap. One thing that we got asked about and that comes up a lot when it comes to streaming is success. Because a lot of people think that if you don't have a partner check mark, if you don't have thousands of CCV or concurrent viewership, that you're not a success as a streamer or content creator. For both of you, kind of what do you consider a measure of success? And I'll go last because I'm the moderator.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was just, were there people in chat talking to me? Honestly, I was like, okay, cool, if someone's paying attention, that's a success. Because I wasn't really looking to moderate my streams or anything. I was just like, I'm gonna go play some video games. Hey, if you want to come check it out, like, come hang out and talk. And for me, it was very similar to social media, right? Like, I'm there because I want to have interactions. It wasn't really, oh, I'm going to turn this into a money-making machine. It's more like, cool, you like watching me, punch the pig thing right in the ass in Bloodborne. Like, let's all laugh about that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's are there people present and are they liking what they're seeing? So I'd rather have a few really interested viewers or people who are commenting with really thoughtful comments on my videos rather than thousands of people who are just hopping in because I might have drops turned on. So for me, the success is, am I having fun, number one, that's really key. And number two, are other people enjoying it? And if those people are enjoying it, then if it's one person or 100 people, great.
Yeah, and then actually, if I can just riff on that real quick, one thing I noticed both from my adventures in streaming as well as like being in a rock band and then doing other stuff is that if you do want this to take off, like if you do want to monetize it, you've got to find your super fans and you've got to give them the tools they need to go talk to other people. Because like that's the best way to grow whatever you're trying to do is word of mouth from other people. They will be how you grow. Like you can buy all the ads you want, but people might be like, oh, click on it, okay, I'm gone. If they hear from someone that they trust, if they're like, oh, cool, you should check this out, like this is a really neat thing, that goes so far.
So funny you say that. There's a built-in tool to do that on Twitch. I don't think a similar thing exists on YouTube, but if you're streaming on Twitch, or if you are in a stream, someone will say, hey, I need to end a stream, we're going to go raid someone. That means I am bringing my community or Chris's community over to another stream where it's like, cool, I'm done for the day, but I think you really enjoy hanging out in Taru's stream because we're playing Dune Awakening, so I think you'd enjoy the chill vibes, and then we go raid them. So that's another way to kind of grow the community, because if people come along in a raid and they like what they see, like what they hear, they will follow and keep hanging out. So the other part I want to talk about is the non-monetary cost. I know we're going to kind of talk about parasocialism on a different panel, but that is one of the bigger costs of it. And then Taru, you've experienced this with people you moderate for and things like that. So, but the other emotional cost is feeling like you are forced / you must go live. And that is an emotional cost I don't think people think about. So if either one of you have thoughts on that kind of well, I guess I gotta go live. I said I was gonna go, and there's a schedule. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I have so many friends that stream, and I see the death of them on Twitch coming when they start going, oh, I have to go stream now. Like, if you aren't enjoying it, if it's not something that's bringing you joy, if it's not something that's actively making you happy or giving you something, then it's never gonna read the same way for your audience either. Like, they're gonna start feeling that, oh man, this streamer is feeling a little off. Like, I have a buddy who has been doing YouTube videos for years, like 20,000 followers on YouTube, and he felt the need to do a single video every single day. He has a full-time job, he has 3 kids, you know, and he was forcing himself to stay up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning to edit videos and get them out and things like that. And you could just tell in his content, it wasn't the same quality, it wasn't the same level of like enjoyment. And I was like, dude, you gotta turn it back. You gotta bring it to a point where you can sustain it. And that's the big thing, is like finding that balance for yourself. Because if you don't love it, if you're not having fun, nobody else is gonna love it or have fun either. And it's a big toll. It's a big thing to think about, because you're like, oh, I have all these people that, you know, comment on my things, that are in my streams, that love my streams. But like, at the end of the day, it's not about them. It's about you as a person and how to take care of yourself.
For me, that was one of the big things. I think we'll all try to ignore the phone fighting that's going on. It sounds like they're having a lot of fun. But that was one of the things that actually made me kind of stop streaming, was this idea that like I'd be letting people down, right? Or then like I couldn't make a regular schedule. And I have the tendency to where like I'll do something for a while and then I'll go do something else for a while. Like, I'll be like, now I'm gonna go write a book. Now I'm going to go do this other thing. But then I'll come back and it's like personally, it felt like if I wasn't putting in the time commitment to the people who were watching me, it felt like I was letting them down. Now, I know obviously that's probably not the case, it's probably just all in my head, but that was something that I felt, and I was like, oh, well, you know, I don't want to turn this into something that people expect, and then I'm not there.
Yeah.
And
that's not all or nothing.
Right.
Thing too. Like, I am neurodivergent, and my brain goes, well, if you're not doing it 100%, you suck. And that's not the case at all. Some days, showing up with a 50%, be like, hey guys, we're gonna do a cozy streaming day, super chill, my brain's not in the right place. That's better than completely canceling, you know what I mean? Or doing something like that, trying to just, and finding your, like, I can stream maybe once a week with my schedule. Not, okay, I'm gonna go live every single day at 5 p.m. and blah, blah, blah. Like, no, that's unsustainable for most people.
Well, what's interesting is a lot of people think to be successful, they have to stream every day. For a long time, there was a belief that you need to stream every day on Twitch. You need to stream for 6, 7, 8, 10 hours just to be successful, because a lot of people chase the purple checkmark. And I'm going to tell you, as someone who's had one for 8 years, it does not make that big of a difference. You get more emails, you may get more opportunities when people see you are a Twitch partner, but at the end of the day, you are still a streamer, you still need to produce content, you still need to go live in order to maintain and curate and manage the people that are coming to see you. And for some, I have some friends, they are full-time streamers. That is what they do 6 days a week. Could not be me. Even now, unemployed, I still can't go live 6 days a week.
I just wanted to interject. I checked next door. So, Kid Room is stomping on Tokyo.
Okay,
cool.
You know what? Godzilla away, children.
the panel's over, we're all gonna stop.
Kaijus. Well, very cute. Carry on. I just wanted to explain why there was so much cost.
I mean, stopping kaiju is important.
Yeah. These children are giving us a service.
They're protecting us. Carry on. And one thing I want to talk about, because we talked about, like, you know, the emotional cost of it, but let's talk about the hidden cost, because burnout is a thing in everything you do. Again, I've been streaming a long time, and there are times where I put out a schedule every week where I intend to stream at these days. I don't get the time. And in some ways I'm like, you know what, I just don't feel it. I just want to go play Palia and go dig in my garden. I don't feel like people today. And by people, I mean the people that might show up for the stream. So what are like kind of hidden non-monetary costs outside of what we've already talked about?
I think it's just the idea that like you gotta be on. Like you're there to give a performance. Like that's what streaming is. You're performing for people who are watching. And it's not the same type of performance as say like, you know, acting in film or TV or, you know, being out on a sports field, but it is a performance, and you do have to mentally know that like, okay, if I'm going to be on, right, people are going to expect me to be on. One of the ways you can really drive people away is you show up for a stream, and then you're just like, ooh, I don't want to be here, right? And everyone watching is like, well, then why are you here? Like, yeah.
Well, there's a different level of being on than with acting or with, even like with the YouTube side of things. Like I can build an entire base in silence and then do a speed through video with music of me building that base. And that's a completely different experience than building a base for 4 hours with an audience, right? So you have to look at like where your mental load is in those situations. And like, I took like a 4-year break and I was like, oh, I'm never gonna go back to any of that stuff. And then it's like, no, but actually I miss it. I miss the interaction. I miss the being around people and talking about things. And like some of the conversations you get into with people is wonderful. And then on the flip side, some of the conversations you get into are awful. And that's why you have to have moderators. And that's something you have to think about. Because like I hit a lot of check marks when people come at me. And making sure that you have a good mod team. And then also being in a mental space where you can handle that type of thing. Knowing that you risk that every time you go live. There could be an awful person that comes in and tries to wreck your day. And if you're not in a space where you can handle that, don't go live.
Yeah, and so that's also something, being in the NFL, every year they would give us media training, right? Where it's like, because you are a public-facing person, these are things you need to know. I'm pretty sure in the streamer world, there is not yearly media training for everyone who is streaming. So like but you do need to keep that in mind, is that you can say something. You might even have an audience of only like 10 or 15 people, but there is the possibility that it could go viral. Like if you do something or react in a certain way, that someone might clip it and be like, hey, check this out, and then all of a sudden you've got way more attention than you ever thought was going to happen. So that's also something you have to keep in mind, is you are now public facing, and what you say and do is public. Like so just be aware of that.
And the internet is forever.
And ink. So it's funny you say media training, because I've had to go through media training in previous jobs. But while there's no official media training, there is something called Creator Camp that is offered from Twitch, where there are things like going live, learning about community etiquette. Etiquette is a thing that you should have in your stream. By etiquette, I mean, don't be overfamiliar with people, don't be weirdos, don't come in and beg for subscriptions. I've had people do everything from begging for a sub to asking to be made a moderator the first time in my stream, and I'm like, whom are you, really? I'm also making sure if there are no littles in case I need to swear later, because sometimes streaming will make you swear quite a bit.
Well, I mean, and that's an important point too, right? Like, who's your audience?
Exactly.
Like, if your audience is, middle schoolers through high school, you're probably going to approach your stream way different than if it's, like adult professionals who are used to a different type of thing. So, yeah, know who your audience is, know who you're trying to cultivate as your audience, and then make sure you're not acting inappropriately for that audience.
And I want to talk about parasocialism. I know we're going to do a whole panel on it, but specifically in terms of streaming. Because, quick show of hands, who knows what parasocial means? Okay, about half the room. So parasocial, in a nutshell, means you feel, as the non-streamer, you have a much closer relationship to the content creator streamer than you actually do. You feel that I virtually visit with you whenever you're live, I hang out in your stream, I may even subscribe to you for $5, $10, $20. So therefore, we're best friends. And I'm like, absolutely not. I do not even know your real name. So that, in the nutshell, is kind of what parasocial is. And it can get very dark. We have seen people be killed, unfortunately. There was an esports competition where a young femme woman was stabbed by someone who was not okay. And that's why we now have a lot more security when we go to events. We have now metal detectors when I go to cons and things like that. So the parasocial side of it is, let's say Chris starts streaming again, because I may harass him to do it, I don't know.
My kids might harass me.
I will be in league with your children. But let's say, Chris starts streaming and I comment, and granted this is a bad example because I know Chris. Let's say I didn't know him. All I know is I follow him on Blue Sky. And I start talking to him like we're best friends, like I know this man, I know his life. That's the weird parasocial thing. And that's when you and your moderators have to shut that down, and also your community needs to shut it down. Taru wants for me, and I mean, you can speak to all the different things you see people coming to my stream and do.
Well, my favorite was when in a 2-hour stream on Black Joy, there were 7 racisms that occurred within 2 hours.
Yep.
We had to ban 7 people because of racism. And we averaged like 70 people for that stream. So that's 1 in 10 people was doing a racism. And this was on, what was it, AMD?
Yep.
It was on AMD's channel, okay? So it is a professional company's channel talking about Black Joy, and there we are, just casual racism all over the place. Yeah.
And so that's something that, if you are planning on streaming, have a game plan for that, right? Like, don't just be like, oh crap, this just happened, what do I do? You have to think ahead of time, okay, this is potentially something that might happen. How will I react? Do I have the tools to react? If I don't have the tools to react properly, where can I find those tools? Where can I find moderation tools? Or where can I get training to know how to diffuse a situation like that? Because again, you are live, right? You are there, everyone is watching, and how you react will be seen by people both in the stream and out of the stream, depending on what happens.
So just as a safety tool, and then we'll talk about fun things. So if you decide to stream on Twitch, there's a thing called shield mode. Basically, it shuts down the chat, it erases everything, and gives you and your moderators a chance to actually deal with whatever's going on. Should you get a hate rage, should you get other people coming in, being obnoxious, what have you, just hit the shield mode button, you and your moderators can do it. And it basically is like kind of a lockdown protocol for your stream immediately. Also have human moderators. Do not rely on bot moderators because there can be language differences, there can be other differences. Sometimes it has happened in my stream where someone is trying to say one thing and they're not quite getting to the point they were trying to make, whether that be foreign language barrier, neurodivergence, or something else that they are trying to convey that doesn't quite get to where they're going.
Have you found that there's like a critical mass point where kind of, a certain amount of people, this is where you really start to need human moderators?
I'd say anything over 10 viewers because, like we found 1 in 10 viewers, because it also depends kind of what you're doing. So for those that don't watch Twitch, they also can put you on the front page. And the front page means you can have anywhere from maybe 100 to 20,000 people watching you. Now, if you're someone who has a couple hundred people, you know how many 100 times people watching you, and that means you're going to get people coming in doing a racism, or if you're on camera and you're femme presenting, you are, very clearly, not cis straight white dude, you will have all kinds of things. And a lot of people think, I'm going to get on the front page, I'm going to get partners. Like, oh no, you don't, slow down. But it also opens you up to far more bad actors. So I think anywhere from 10 to 15 viewers at that point, have at least one human moderator. And also talk to your moderators, communicate. Tell them what you expect of them. Have community rules. Because the more things you do front-facing before you go live, the easier it'll be to moderate. And kind of like you've been saying, it's like, what do I do? Okay, in case of a hate raid, we hit the shield button, we go to the pause screen, we start banning and blocking these bots, and kind of having a plan in place. All right, so enough doom and gloom. Maybe we'll talk about the fun side of streaming now. Because I wish I had put my deck up because I did this promo before it passed. But this is going to be where we give people advice for if they think they're going to be rich and famous off streaming, but also the fun parts of streaming. There are fun parts, believe it or not. So for both of you, what is the most fun thing you've gotten out of streaming?
For me, it's just the interactions, right? Like just getting to enjoy something with other people that also enjoy that thing. I think that's a fairly universal human behavior. It's like, oh cool, you like the same thing I like. We're all here at a convention. Like we presumably enjoy a lot of the same things. So yeah, getting to share that joy, and then when something interesting happens, right? Like for example, the Bloodborne example I used earlier. There's this backstab animation that literally looks like you're shoving your fist up this big thing's butt. And like the first time I saw it happen, I was like, did I just see that? And I literally reloaded so I could see if it happened again. And sure enough, it happened again. And of course my chat is like, that is the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. Why did they program that in? So yeah, stuff like that. Like that's where it's really kind of the joy of streaming.
Yeah, it's just the community of people that you're able to create around you, and it's I'm a social gamer. Like, I love playing games where I can play with other people, and it's not always feasible for me to be like my 3 friends that also have this game. Hey, are we all available at the same time? So I discovered that I enjoy single-player games and solo play of multiplayer games a lot more when I can have a little bit of an audience and chat with people while I'm doing it. So it increases the level of enjoyment. And yeah, there are so many times where, like, if I'm not streaming and something wild happens, I'm like, I wish I was streaming, or so somebody could clip that, or I could see it again, or oh my gosh, that was ridiculous. And then it's like, well, next time I just need to be streaming. We need to be doing the thing. So when the ridiculous thing happens, there are witnesses.
Well, I mean, for me, it also kind of calls back to, like, when I was a kid, you know, you'd be playing, like, Final Fantasy 1 at home, right? And something crazy would happen, and then you'd have to wait till the next day when you and your friends are at school. You're just like, that just totally happened. Like, that didn't happen. You're just making that up.
Like, so it happened.
Like, no, but really,
Really, it happened.
Like, I really did kill Chaos with Fighter on Critical Health, and everyone else was dead. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But now kids can be like, no, I got it on OBS. I recorded it on my phone.
So yeah, just kind of that joy, like being able to share that.
I think for me, a fun thing that happens is, like, we'll play Dean Awakening. And running from the sandworm is an experience, let me tell you. One time I did not get away from the sandworm, and that was just one of those, well, stream's over, goodbye. Because it's just, you know, if you're playing Dean Awakening and the sandworm gets you, you lose everything down to your underwear. The first time they will be kind and give you your bike back, and that is it. After that, you use whatever, like your backpack, and you just show up at your base in your undies, and it's like, good luck. I hope you got materials to make all that over again. But also just things, for me, the fun is also, I do charity streaming. For those of you who ever tried it, Tiltify is a great tool. But there was one stream where I decided I'm just going to stream. I live in Chicago, and up until recently, cash bail was still a thing. And I decided to raise money for the Bail Project because I don't believe in cash bail. And I did a stream, said low goal means smash goal. And, you know, we got to the point where we got put on front page spontaneously, and at the end of the 10-hour stream, we raised $143,000. So, and then I couldn't tell you. But that was the thing that was impossible even 5 years ago, because people came in, they saw what was happening, you're contributing to the chaos. Got friends to visit my Animal Crossing islands. We did all of this in Animal Crossing, by the way, not a hardcore game. We were just running around in Animal Crossing, like chasing each other with axes. Seriously, and then, you know, like, I got a couple friends from Critical Role to join us on Voice, and that helped. So that was like one of the best things I've ever done with streaming. And we were able to be a 6-digit fundraiser when I thought I'd be lucky to raise like $200 because I had just done St. Jude. And it's like, charity fatigue is also a thing that can be in the panel. And also there's some friends I made, because I met Taru because of streaming. I met Chris because we had folks in common, and we both are nerds and like gaming, and then I wound up working with him on Otaku. So streaming can bring good things. Like, actually, most of my friends, I think, right now that I've got, outside of high school friends, are people I've met through streaming or through content creation. I've got international friends because of it, so it is possible.
Well, and that's also, I think, a really important point, is that you don't have to do this alone, right? Like, this isn't, I mean, I know the idea is that, like, oh, you're this single person in front of your computer doing this thing, but find your community, right? Like, find other people that enjoy those things and get to know them. Like, and it doesn't, like, it isn't like you show up, you know, first day in their stream and be like, hey, I'm doing this, come send your viewers over to my stream. Like, no, actually, like, get to know the, you know, the person, their community, because that'll also let you know, okay, is this a good fit or not? But, like, it's like making friends. Like, you gotta put yourself out there. You gotta actually approach people and talk to them and get to know them. And then that way you do start forming a community, and then you can start working together and helping each other out. I mean, that goes for more than just streaming, right? Like, that goes for writing. Like, that goes for pretty much anything you want to do. If you want to be successful, you gotta find other people and you gotta help each other.
And one of the cool things that Twitch has are the teams, which I'm obviously on Team Cypher, and so that is a community. It's a built-in community. You find a group of people that you vibe with, that you're able to, like, have some similar goals, similar ideals, and then that group kind of helps you out, because it's like, oh, we're gonna go do a raid. All right, well, I'm gonna pick somebody from the team and I'm gonna go help support them. Oh, I see they only have 10 viewers. Let's go over there instead of raiding into the person that has 10,000 viewers or whatever. And so you have that wonderful like moment of community, and you have that group of people that can support you. And like Tanya and I stream together a lot, and sometimes we don't use stream together because it is very, I mean, it's still wiggy, but it needs some help. It's special. But we'll stream at the same time, and then I'll be like, oh, you should be, open up another tab and go watch, her point of view over there and see what's happening. And Tanya will be like, oh yeah, go watch their stream over there. And it's those moments where you can share things with your friends and help support them as well. Like once you get a little bigger, it's like, okay, I'm gonna pass it on, I'm gonna spread the wealth instead of hoarding all of your viewership and all of that. And I feel like the right communities of people do that, and you find the right communities when you, spend enough time there.
Yeah, one other thing before we open up for questions is what piece of advice would you give someone? If someone came to you after this and said, something about streaming, what advice would you give them?
If they asked me, sorry, repeat that.
So if they came to you, like saw this panel and had questions about streaming,
Right.
what one piece of advice would you give someone who wants to start streaming or making like YouTube videos?
Make sure you love what you're doing, especially if you think you're going to do it to make money, because I can promise you it's very similar to making it to the NFL. 99.9% of people are never going to be in Asman Gold, right? Like 99.9% of people are
Can you pick a better example?
Mr. Beast.
No, out. Wow, Chris.
Right, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like it's like you see the really big names, and like of course everyone wants to aspire to be that, but that is the exception. That's not the rule. So you have to bear in mind that you can put in all the hard work in the world, and you might not make it. Like, and it might not be due to any fault of your own. Like you may have a great community of like 200, 300 people, and it might pay some of your bills, but for whatever reason, it just doesn't grow past that point. And that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with your stream. It just means that like, okay, that's your community. That's who's found you. And for a lot of people, like you get a lucky break, and then that kind of propels you forward, and then it starts becoming like its own self-fulfilling mass. But yeah, you gotta love what you're doing. And you also have to accept the fact that this might not be my career. It's something that I do, that I enjoy doing, but I do need another way to make sure that I have a roof over my head and I have food on the table.
Kind of piggybacking on that, just make sure you set realistic expectations for yourself. Because I'm never going to have, 20,000 Twitch followers. That's never going to be a thing because I don't have the time or the ability to put the time in where I'm at right now. Like that's just not a reality. So setting realistic goals for yourself. Maybe it's getting 10 followers. Maybe it's streaming for 4 hours a week or whatever it is. Just setting realistic goals for yourself. And that's so hard to do because everybody wants it to happen now. Everybody wants it to happen instantaneously. Oh, I need this big following. I need all this money to come in. And it's like, if you are not passionate and care about what you're doing, it's never going to work. So set those goals and figure out what those look like and make little adjustments. So like, okay, my first goal is 10 followers. Then it's 15 followers, not 50, right? Set goals that you can achieve. And that's what's really important because we all love dopamine. And achieving goals gives you dopamine. And most of us don't produce it properly in our brains. So like, making those little tiny goals that you can meet, that you can achieve, is going to keep things propelling forward for you.
Yeah, if you're doing this for number go up, you're going to be really disappointed. Don't do it for number go up.
And also realize that this may sound a little negative, it is A-okay if you discover streaming is not for you.
Oh yeah.
It is A-okay, because a lot of people, they see the folks with the 10, 20,000, but they don't realize they have been on Twitch since it was just in TV. They have built that audience, they've built that community since day one, and you're not going to be able to replicate what you're viewing as success. And also have multiple income streams. Do not rely on Twitch to make it your only income, because you are a contractor to Twitch. For those that don't know, they take 50% off the top before you get paid out. You do not see all of that money that you see in your dashboard, subtract 50%, and that's what you will get net. And then save 30% for taxes, save money in case you get sick or need to go to the doctor or have an unexpected expense. So unless you're pulling in 2,000-3,000 subs a month, and that's a tier 1, $5 per person, you're not making your living off Twitch. So have multiple income streams, have a part-time job. Or if someone watches this video later, be aware that the creator economy is not what it was even 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I could pay my rent and a couple bills off Twitch. That is so not the case anymore because life is expensive. So yay, we got through most of the panel, so now we have time for questions. I believe there are colored squares of paper around with symbols. So please hold one up if you have a question. Otherwise, we'll just stare at you for 20 minutes. Yes?
Regarding streaming, I was interested in the panelists, what your relationship is with VODs. A lot of your talk has been about the live streaming, and Taru, you mentioned doing editing and stuff. But the live stream interaction has been great. What is your relationship with VODs? Are they just the archive of what you've done? Are they things that you edit to put in the same place or put in a different platform? How do you utilize it to not necessarily be successful, but to make you happy?
I'm legacy and just upload my VODs directly to Twitch. Unless I have done more than like one game or something in one stream, then I'll cut it wherever the game changes or something. Rarely will I edit, so if I'm doing like a sponsored stream and I need to give them the video, then I will like cut out a kind of preamble and it breaks. I will go in and do a bit more editing. But usually I just hit the button because you can upload directly to YouTube from Twitch. You can also upload your clips directly. So if someone comes in, there's a cool moment, and someone makes a clip, you can send that to to Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok with the press of a button. So I mainly don't want to lose those archives, because Twitch recently made everyone go down to 100 hours of highlight video. I've been streaming for 11 years. Do the math.
Yeah, I mean, VODs are there as like a record of things. When I was doing YouTube videos, that was a different format, and so that was where editing came into play. But like with Twitch, it's tough because I feel like the VODs lose a lot of the sparkle and shine because you aren't getting that interaction with the streamer, and like depending on how you upload it in the format, like you'll lose your chat. So it's like. To me, they're a good source of like a record of like, oh, this is what I did, or oh, I want to go back and like, make a reel of like cool things that happened in the last year or whatever, and they're a good source of that, but overall they're not like something I'm focused on.
Yeah, I think the way to look at it is like, when you're live streaming, it's like a live sport, right? Like everyone's there, everyone's in the moment, they're present, and then, your VOD is like your replay. So generally only like the most hardcore fans are gonna go back and watch a replay of a game. People will watch highlights, so that's what I would, highly recommend. Like if you are streaming, there's a cool moment, as they both said, like make a clip of that and upload it, because everyone loves highlights, right? But I think it's probably pretty rare that someone's going to go back through and watch like your entire VOD library, because it's like really only the true sickos are out there going back watching all the previous games.
Or like if someone is playing a game and I can't make a stream and I don't want to miss that particular chunk of the game and I still want to be able to understand where they've gone, I will sometimes go back and watch a VOD in that regard. And that is helpful, especially if it is a game where there's a story involved and you need to know piece by piece like what's happening. That's one time that I will go and I'll watch a VOD.
Other questions?
Yes.
As someone who has no experience in editing, how much time would I reasonably be expected to need to put into the editing process just for, say, a 10-minute video?
How long is the source video?
Yeah, it depends on a variety of factors, right? So the first factor is how good do you want your video to look? That's going to determine a lot of how much time you spend editing. The second part is how many different things are you using to edit into that video? So, like for example, when I was making my Path of Exile videos, I'd be recording multiple clips of different things happening because I'm showing a build synopsis, so I need to show okay, here's how the build performs on this fight, here's how it performs on this fight, here's how it performs on this fight. And you don't just want to kind of stitch them together in random order, you want it to tell a story, right? That's what you use editing for. So, you can do a quick and dirty edit of, it'd probably take you about an hour, if you have maybe one or two sources and you're just trying to get it together for clarity. But yeah, if you're really trying to put something together where it's multiple sources and you want it to look really clean and you want some sort of music over the top or subtitles or something like that, probably anywhere from like 3 to 8 hours, depending on what it is. I mean, editing takes a while. Like it's a lot of like just really small adjustments here and there to get the flow of it going.
And that's one of the beautiful things about Twitch is it's all live, it's streaming, you don't have to edit. Like that's where you're at. Like we are live, we're doing the thing, and oh, well that happened, okay, here we are, we're moving forward. Or oh, well, I cursed, guess what, that's staying in there. You know, like that's why I have shifted from the YouTube side of things to the Twitch side of things, is it is just the economy of time. Because when you're spending more than 80% of your time editing and 20% of your time playing, like that's not sustainable unless it is breaking you in tons and tons of money, right? For me, I'm like, I'm not doing that. So, like, take that into consideration, and that's the beauty of streaming versus creating content.
Right, yeah, and it's one thing if you're like Josh from Let's Give It Out, right? you can afford to take 2 weeks in between videos because you're putting out what's essentially a small movie, right? But streaming, like, people can just watch and have that. And again, I go back to the parallel between live sporting events, right? Like you watch the live sporting event because anything could happen during that time. That's kind of the appeal of it. Whereas if you watch like a YouTube video, you're expecting a certain level of polish, which means you're going to have to put the time in for that editing.
Well, the cool thing is with Twitch, you don't even have to export it. People can go back and watch your VODs. Even so, if like I showed up to either their streams late, like 20 minutes in, I can actually go back while they're still live and see what I missed.
That's where.
Right, so okay, I caught up, I'm back now. But I guess I have a question to return to you. Are you talking about editing and taking your stream VOD and then polishing it and putting it on YouTube?
That's kind of what I had in mind.
Okay.
I mean, you could, but you actually don't have to. Unless you have like your starting stream going for 15, 20 minutes and you want to cut that out. Or you take a lot of breaks, things like that. That you can go in, but you can also make markers when you're live. And so those markers are in the Twitch VOD. So then you can download it. You can do a little basic editing in the Twitch back end. But if that's something you really want to do, is make a marker of I've started soon, I'm actually on screen, I'm taking a break, an hour and a half in. So make markers of like marker/marker break 1/marker break 2. And you got an easy visual guide instead of having to scroll through your whole VOD.
Yeah, again, at the end of the day, it depends what you want to do, right? Like, are you making a highlight reel, or are you just trying to point people to interesting things that happen? So if you're making a highlight reel, you got to spend time editing. Like, if you just want to point people, it's a lot easier.
Yep, just go here, I was live, you missed it, here.
Good question. Anyone else?
Otherwise, we'll just stare at you. Yes, back there.
How do you decide which games you want to do you want your own personal time versus what you want to stream?
That's a tough one.
I've got an easy answer. Contrary to what a lot of people do, I often eschew the super popular game that just came out, partially because I want to enjoy it sometimes for myself, and this is going to make me sound like such a contrary jackass, but a lot of times when I watch the new games that come out, one, I want to enjoy it for me. I don't want other people's reactions to kind of be in the back of my brain of, oh, they reacted this way, and they saw this thing, and why am I not reacting that way? Or, and because I'm me, seeing the way people react to certain things in a game can sometimes actually turn me off the game. Hopefully this will not go out anytime soon. But trying to watch Date Everything, for instance, I'm interested in the game, I do like a ton of games, but seeing the absolute off-the-rails reactions when people realize who's voicing what appliance, I'm like, I need y'all to relax, this is too much. You are too excited about this magnifying glass, calm down. or the bed, or, there's 100 things you can date in there. Also, while I am unemployed right now, I don't have that much time to date 100 things. And sometimes I play Paleo a lot. That's like my head empty, no thoughts. I may stream it on occasion if Twitch is offering drops. I'm gonna message Taru, I'm gonna message other friends. Hey, I'm just chilling in Paleo, do you wanna get on voice and hang out? Because some games are just strictly social. Like Dune, I've streamed Dune, but again, sometimes, if I'm gonna go do story content, I'm gonna stream it. But if I just wanna mess around in my base for a couple hours, also I think people would find that boring, but maybe that's me.
Yeah, I think ultimately you should stream what you enjoy playing, because otherwise you're not going to enjoy making the stream, and then that's going to come through to your audience. Now, having said that, you also have to accept that sometimes the things you enjoy playing might mean there is a smaller community around that, right? Like, so, for example, if I'm playing Path of Exile, like I might get, a certain amount of people, whereas if I'm playing one of the mini Vampire Survivor clones, like, it's probably going to be a little bit lower. Like, so yeah, I mean, do what you love to do, but also bear in mind that like there are trade-offs to doing that, right? Like, and don't feel like you have to chase the big thing, because if you do, you're just going to burn yourself out. Like, you got to enjoy what you're doing.
And I think also don't feel like you're trapped in a single game. So like I have friends who are completely sucked into the survival genre. And I love this. I mean, I have probably 4,000 hours in Ark. So realize also that there are going to be times when you're doing things that aren't interesting. Like I said, building a base. That requires a very specific audience to want to watch you count squares while you're placing them and like, okay, well now I need some more rocks to go make this, foundation. All right, and like, oh, I want to put this, oh, actually that wall didn't work there. Like that's a completely different style of streaming. If that's not what you're normally streaming with your audience, realize you might not have the same interest or same thing. So, but I still am going to play those games. I'm still going to, build my giant castles and count all of my squares. But also, really, again, like what everybody has said, if you're not enjoying it, if you're not having fun playing it, then it's not worth it. And trying to chase the hype is not ever going to work, because there are going to be several thousand people playing those new popular games. But if you're playing something a little more niche, a little bit more like, a smaller community, but you're doing it in a way that's, honoring that community and showing interest in that community, those people are going to become your real fans, right? So the games that you love are the games you should play. And also you should play them off stream as well. You should not only play those games on stream, because it is being on. It is portraying this character of, this is me online and I gotta be friendly and nice and blah, blah, blah. And like sometimes I really just want to sit there and curse for like 5 hours because I didn't math right or whatever it is, and like, so find that balance. So the games you love, and also play them offline, for sure.
And also just be fine with, I'm really into a new game, but maybe I just don't want to be I don't want to be the very small fish out of thousands of people playing, let's say, Claire Obscure. So if you're playing, and what I found, and I don't know if you found this, is if it's a newer game or if it's something a bit more popular, where the people that normally might come watch you are like, well, I don't want to get spoiled, and so they don't come watch you. Or it's like, I just want to play this, I just want to like, focus mode. Because like, I love fighting games. I don't often stream them because people A, want to critique you, B, they want to fight you, and I don't always want to fight every rando off the street, at least in fighting games. Other places, maybe not. And sometimes you just want that thing that's for you. Like, I put a lot of hours in Dragon Age Veilguard. I've done my couple streams, full runs, and now when I go in and play it again, I'm casual, I'm looking through every nook and cranny, and that may or may not be interesting to people, but also, I may also get on the stream division because I need to go have therapeutic shoot time. And if you want to come along, cool, and if not, oh well, there's millions of other people to go watch. Be okay with people not wanting to see your content. Do it for you first and foremost, and people are getting the, I don't want to say privilege, but they're getting the chance to hang out with you. They're trapped with you, they're not trapped with them.
Yeah. You're trapped in here with me, I'm not trapped in here with you.
Yes.
So, I know the theme is gaming. And
You speak up a little
I
bit.
said,
I'm sorry.
okay, sorry, I'm quiet. So I know the overall theme is gaming and such. I'm just curious though if any of you have experience streaming non-gaming.
Yeah.
And if you see Twitch as a viable platform for it. Like in my case, I have a studio where we have fans come in and play effectively. It's our own nightclub. And then so far we've just streamed to Facebook or YouTube and willy-nilly and trying to actually develop a strategy. And so it's a question of, like, I don't know, Twitch. Like I jumped on it a little bit, but now.
So Twitch actually has a DJ category.
I've seen a lot of the
There's a music category, there's crafting, there's just talking, there's talk shows, there's podcasts. I actually do crafting streams and do mini painting streams, not strictly gaming. I also do TTRPG streams on occasion. I was on a couple of official D&D shows, but I've also done them on my channel. Twitch is not just gaming. I have gone on, I've done, I started some dice before I went here, so I may unmold them, is that the right word? reveal, sure. I may take them out of the mold on stream and then sand and paint them. There's actually a very vibrant crafting community, and there is a music community. Now, mainly it's not people doing DJ sets, but there are people who just do live music. There are people who do writing. There are people who do everything but gaming. There's an older woman that I follow. She literally just plays music and does puzzles and talks to people for like 6 hours. And it's the most chill thing for me, except when she plays gospel music. Look, I grew up with it, I'm good. But there are people like, there's actually puzzle in the Lego category. If you love Legos, go set up an overhead camera and go make some Legos for 6 hours.
And we have a friend who does bookbinding, like historical bookbinding. And so it is a very, very niche area. And realize that like you're probably not going to get the 10,000, 20,000 viewers that live gaming is going to get, but even if you get a smaller audience that finds out about you that maybe wouldn't have otherwise, it's going to be a benefit, you know? And if you're already doing it, you might as well show people, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can stream anything. Like, you just have to be passionate about it, and then you just have to interact with your community. Like, that's really the big thing, because people are looking for a connection, right? Like, they see that you care about something, and they care about that thing, and then they want to have that connection that, oh, hey, we both care about that thing. Like, for example, my older kid, he's building up his Twitch streaming for drawing. Like, it's nothing video game related. He just wants to draw, and there are drawing streams. And like, again, find your community, right? Like, find those other bands like in the music area and be like, hey, you did something that was really cool. Like, I appreciate that. Like, we're trying to do something cool here. Like, do you have any advice? Like, and especially for like established people. Usually people who are established that don't have like giant audiences are more than willing to give you help. Like, they love being like, yeah, no, here's what I did. Here's what worked, here's what didn't work. Because like, who doesn't like giving advice, right? So yeah, just find that community and then, you know, work to help each other out.
And one thing I'll say is Twitch does have a lot of online resources, and depending on how you feel about really big conventions, TwitchCon is a thing. And if you don't want to go to TwitchCon, a lot of the panels are recorded or streamed that are up on the Twitch YouTube channel, which is ironic because it's Twitch. But they often have resources, or just throw a net out on social media and go, hey, you know, I've got a studio, I've got bands coming in, I'd love to stream it. Is there someone already doing this that I could chat with? Or, you know, find people who are streaming that and just kind of see what they're doing. Don't come and go, hey, I'm gonna start streaming too, because that's a weird etiquette breach. But just watch what they're doing and see, like, do they have multiple cameras, like what they're doing. And then maybe if they've got a way to be reached outside of streams, a lot of people have a business email and their Twitch panels are a way to reach them. Just go, hey, I really enjoyed your stream. I'm looking to do a similar thing. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions? And always just go from there. Don't do follow for follow. And please, no matter the size of your stream, stop calling yourself small streamers. Because you are a streamer, you're a broadcaster, you're a content creator, you are not just a small streamer. Right, we should have time for one or two more if they're brief. Yes.
I was just going to ask about something that I sort of...
Can you speak up a little bit?
Yeah, I was going to ask about something I've noticed more recently, which is that I watch a lot of streamers who are like in the 100, 200 range. I follow a couple getting into the thousands, but I tend to find that the 100, 200 ones seem more like content, I'd say. And like, do you think about the ceiling you want to put on like the amount of people you're bringing in? To, like,
So your question is, are we thinking about like kind of a cap to the number of people we want?
Yeah.
Do you have thoughts? I have a thought, but I've talked a lot.
I really think you can't control that. You know what I mean? Like, we are live on the internet, and you've opened yourself up to the broader spectrum that is the internet. And like, anybody has a chance to go viral. Like, do I want to go viral? Absolutely not. Like, that is not my goal. I don't want to be perceived most times. So like, which is weird that I'm a streamer, whatever. But like, I don't think you can actually set a cap. Because people, if there is an interest and you're doing something really cool or maybe really niche, that you find this magical moment of luck and the universe collides, you're gonna get people following you whether you want it or not. And I don't think you can limit the number of followers you have. So I think there is probably a happy medium, right? With like a couple hundred people following, a couple hundred people watching, that's great because the chat's not flying. You're able to interact with every single person who is in the stream. Because like, that is the downside to having several thousand people in the chat, is you cannot keep up. You can't do it. And that's when you need so many moderators, because things are flying by and you miss some of the really awful things, or maybe you see it and you misread it or things like that. But yeah, I think just trying to, if you're bringing joy and several thousand people want to experience that joy, like, I don't think we should limit that. And also, you don't have control of that.
Yeah, I think part of it too is just also what are those people going for, right? Like, are they doing this because they like doing it, and then other people happen to come along, or are they chasing number go up, and you can tell, right, that they're like, oh, I gotta get more people, I gotta get more people, I gotta get more people.
Push. I'm doing that push.
Because like that comes through. Like people can sense that kind of thing, and so it's like, as someone who's gone viral on social media multiple times, again, usually it's not something I intended to do. It was just me being me. And so it's like, if you want to be happy with what you're doing, like, you got to do something you like doing. Like, if you're chasing it, you're never really going to be happy, because there's like, you're never really going to reach that point where you're like, oh, this is enough, I'm happy now. It's always going to be like, oh, well, I got 10,000, but like, but what about 15,000, right? Or like, oh, I got 20,000, but what about 50,000? Like, again, you have to be content in what you're doing in order, to have that vibe on stream, where it's like, you can tell the people who are happy doing what they're doing, regardless of the amount of viewers, because they actually enjoy doing it, right? So yeah, just be happy with what you're doing, regardless of how many people follow.
And we can't, like I said, we can't control the number of people that show up, but you can control how you react to it and how you moderate. So you can put your chat on slow mode. If you do something and you suddenly got 1,000 people watching you, you can put your chat on slow mode. You can tell your moderators, oh, this is a lot of people. We need to kind of make sure people can only chat every 30 seconds and things like that. Follower-only mode, where if they have not hit the follow button, they cannot talk in your chat, which seems restrictive, but it's helping you manage the chat in that moment.
Yeah, and then also moderation and building your community to be effective is a proactive thing. Like, that's something you have to do. Like, for example, my Blue Sky community is 170 something thousand at this point, but I've made it very clear that I do not stand for people coming in and being a dick. Like, if you're a dick to me, or if you're a dick to anyone else in the replies, you're going to get blocked. And everyone else understands that, and so there is a community of like, okay, yeah, we're here to have civil conversations, and like, that doesn't mean you can't disagree with me. Like, I love having arguments, but like, if you say something misogynistic or racist, it's gonna be like, see ya out the cornfield. Like, so yeah, to build that community, you got to take the time to do that, and you have to actually talk about that. Like, it has to be expected from you, from your community.
You can set it up so that people have to agree to your stream rules before they can talk as well. All right, we have 3 minutes left. Is there one quick question left? If not, we'll wrap up. Yes, no?
We talk a lot about, having moderators, right? At what point are you, we're here because we're doing it for fun, not for money. At what point are you paying your moderators to be there? And if you do, or they just do it because they like you and you guys are friends?
If I ever make enough to pay my moderators, I'll let you know.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And I'm not being funny. Most people asked to be moderators or accepting moderators, understanding that they are volunteering their time, and it's usually because they're your friends, they know what you expect, or they've been in your community a long time and seen the Bibles and they want to help. I don't know of many people outside of people making hundreds of thousands of dollars that can pay their moderators.
Right, and that's also kind of a self-fixing problem, right? Where when you're at the point where you probably need to pay a team of moderators, you probably have enough people watching that like the money's coming in where you can pay the people to be the team of moderators. Other than that, it's just people who are friends or who can become friends, people who are interested in what you're doing and want to help out, and then there are other ways to pay people other than money, right? Like, it's like maybe one of your moderators wants to start their own stream. You're like, hey, I can give you a boost on that. Because you helped me out, and I'm going to help you out. Like, that's how communities form.
I'm that guy.
Right? Again, but it all comes back to being part of a community. Like, you got to find those communities, you got to build those bonds, and then sometimes you're the person being helped, sometimes you're the person helping others, and that's just how it works.
Cool. All right, well that about wraps up. We're going to talk about what we're doing next today and through the rest of the weekend, and then we'll see you around the car. So Chris, what are you doing?
I have a meet and greet at 12:30, I believe, somewhere in the hotel, and then I will be doing the physics of the dealership apparently is where my meet and greet is at. That's from 12:30 to 1:30, and then I will be doing the physics of punting on the main stage at 2 p.m.
Watch it.
So yes, I'm going to be very excited. It's going to be me and Dr. Jim. We'll be talking about kicking footballs.
I'm so excited, you know, to say I'm going to miss it. I have 2 more panels today at Inclusive Gaming, which is sadly at the same time as Chris's panel. But if you don't get into that panel, come to ours. We're going to talk about creating welcoming gaming spaces, then at 8:38 to talk about fan fiction. I'm super excited, because I'm a big nerd that has written over 1 million words of fanfic.
And tomorrow I will be on the parasocial relationships panel with, I think these two and a couple other people at 7 p.m. So if you'd like to hear more about how to not be a parasocial weirdo, come to that.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.